Hi folks, welcome once again to the channel Marian on Homes. My name is Marian and I explore beautiful homes all over the city of Accra and all over Ghana as well, and I provide tips and tricks on how to make the interiors of your homes look amazing on a budget. So the other day I was thinking about how ubiquitous smartphones have become, and so we just point and then we click, but the pictures we take just remain digital because after we've done that, we post it to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, we share with our friends on WhatsApp, and that image remains digital. And so it's almost as if printing pictures and framing them in beautiful frames and hanging them on the walls has become something of the past. Today, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to arrange pictures in your homes to make it look amazing and inviting and elegant. If this is the first time on my channel, thank you for watching. Kindly consider subscribing, and thanks to all those that have watched my previous videos and have already subscribed to this channel. I appreciate your support and your love. Thank you all so much. So back in the day, without giving my age away, we had these standard frames that came with a glass covering that you hung up on the wall. But now things have changed. There are different types of photo frames. They have the canvas photo frames that looks like a standard painting, but then it's your photo that has been printed onto a canvas. It's absolutely amazing, and it's lightweight and it's very easy to hang. And then there's another frame called the laminate, and so that is a lamination of your picture on something that looks like a foam, and then it has a glossy sheen placed over it, and it is also frameless if you like, and so it gives your photo a very shiny glossy look, like it has been framed behind glass, but it's actually laminate. So between the actual traditional glass framed photo frames that we know and the canvas and the laminate, you have an option now of having a matte finish, which is what the canvas will give you. It doesn't glare in light if you want a matte finish, but then if you want a glossy shiny finish, you can go for the laminate, or you can go for your traditional glass frames. So these are the options there are now, and so you can play around with those and see which one best fits you, or you can mix and match and see how that works out for you. Tip number 1, the forest cluster. So this look works for if you have a space in your home, maybe a sideboard or a little side table that you want to bring some life to. You can use this technique. This also works if you have various photos that are framed that are small, so you can cluster them together on the table. Now the trick to this is to have maybe 4 or 5 photo frames of varying heights and sizes and shapes. It also helps to bring some cohesiveness if you pair them up. What am I saying? So for example, you have 5 photo frames. Even if they have different sizes and shapes, you can make each pair have like a similar frame or a similar color. So you would have, for example, 2 black frames, 2 brown frames, 2 gold frames, whichever way. But they can be of different shapes and sizes. But then when you cluster them all together, they would still look cohesive, because what ties them together would be that they are paired in color or in type of frame. So eventually, once you have displayed all your 5 or how many photos, they will look really pretty on that sideboard. Tip number 2, the wall cluster. So the trick for this one is to have picture frames that are of different sizes, either in increasing order or in decreasing order. So you would have large, larger, largest, or small, smaller, smallest, depending on the space that you have on your wall. And so you would cluster them together, maybe in ascending or descending order, depending on which frames you want to highlight. And once you are done, you can play around with the positions as well to give it a beautiful outcome. Feel free to shift things around if it doesn't quite come together, but make sure that at the end of the day, you still have the sizes in ascending or descending order, irrespective of the position that you place it on the wall. Tip number 3, the symmetry. So for this, the ultimate trick is to be able to attain symmetry. That is, having a point in the middle where your photos are equidistant from. So your point in the middle can be an imaginary point, or it can be an object that is placed there. And then you would have your pictures on either side to give it symmetry. Now, for the eye to be able to understand perfect symmetry, the pictures on either side should be perfectly matched and should look identical, or else it becomes a little bit weird to one side or the other. So make sure that the lines are equidistant from whichever center or point you choose, and that the photo frames are identical. Tip number 4, the triangle. So the triangle is a bit trickier to attain, but ultimately in your mind, what you should do is always position your 3 photos in a pyramid shape. So think about apex, and then you think about the 2 points at the bottom. Now you can play around with photos of different sizes and shapes. Here what has happened is to have 3 laminate photos that have the exact same theme, the exact same size and shape, and that was a very easy triangle to do once you have that. It gets more complicated when it's different shapes and sizes and you're trying to attain a triangle with that. So play around with it. Please don't knock too many holes in your walls. First, arrange the pictures on the floor to see how they will look like before you go hitting a nail in the wall to try out this tip. Tip number 5, the classic. Finally, the classic. So if you have a picture or frame, either canvas, laminate, framed in a beautiful frame that you want to make pride of place, find that spot in your house and just hang it. The only tip here is to be sure that all other objects around it does not clash or glare with it. So if you have a TV or a wall clock or other pictures, make sure that that picture that you've put that has pride of place sits with it. It doesn't compete with it, it doesn't jar, it doesn't look unsightly. And that is something that you can have fun with all the time. People have like their wedding frames and things like that. Go on and look for that pride of place spot on the wall and just hang that photo. So one thing to note about these edgeless frames, so to speak, is you want to mount them on walls that are painted in lighter tones. I've realized that if you have walls that are super vibrant, they drown out the picture. This is because with the traditional frames, you would have a border, which is the frame. It will be colored either black or brown or gold or some color to let your eye know that this is the edge of the frame, this is where the picture begins, and this is where it ends. But with these frameless pictures with the laminate and the canvas, these edges are not there to guide the eye. So if they are superimposed on very vibrant colored walls, they will tend to disappear. And so one last bonus tip I will leave you is, if you have pictures you've taken with your phone even, because now the phones have become so sophisticated and their cameras so advanced that they rival actual professional cameras. If you take a picture that is really good. And the best photos are those I didn't pose for it moments with friends and family. Those are the best. You can send them to be blown up. Just make sure that the resolution is right, or else they get pixelated. And you can frame them in canvas, laminate, or just buy a picture frame and slot that in, and just have fun hanging those memories around you instead of, you know, sharing them and just leaving it like that. I mean, sharing is good if it's in digital copy, absolutely, but there are those pictures that you want to be able to see when you walk in the room. You don't want to have to unlock your phone and scroll through your gallery before you go, do you remember this moment? So that's what I'll leave you with. Just do it. I know this guy. He's called Mawuli. He takes great pictures. He's a professional photographer. He hooks me up with all of my pictures and picture frames and things like that. I will leave his details in the description below. You can contact him and have conversations about getting professional photos, or just getting your digital photos come to life and printing on the canvas or laminate, or whichever way you want. He'd be able to help you out. So until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Stay safe.